welcome to Hollow Acres Homestead. My name is Stephanie, and today we are planting and transplanting some tomatoes. So it is going to be super rainy for the next 6 days or so. 80% chance today. I am out here. It is, I think it's like 1 o'clock. And I'm going to transplant some tomatoes. Ooh, that burns a little bit. Bug bites. Burns the bug bites. I've got a couple of questions asking about mosquitoes. What do I do with those as far as protecting myself? And what I use is this Skin to Mint sensitive cutter brand. Still choke you out, you know. Daisies are sad. But I like this stuff. It works the best. I do have sensitive skin. Okay. All right. So I am over here. This is the long tomato bed lining the garden, I guess. I planted, there's like 25 Costa Luto Genovese plants in this bed, and I'm crazy and I realized this. So I'm going to leave about 10. Stop right here. I'm going to dig up, there's some small ones behind the daisies, and that's why they're small. I'm going to pull them up and everything else to the end of the bed. I'm going to move these Costa Luto Genovese to the left side of the garden. That is the shaded, more shaded area. The tomato plants will grow a lot of foliage over there. I learned that last year. And I'm having a hard time getting the peas to kind of crawl up the trellis like I want them to. So, these Costa Luto Genovese tomatoes are indeterminate. They get about 6 to 9 feet tall, depending, because it's, you know, less sunny over there. They probably won't get so very tall. But the point is to cover the archways and, you know, make it feel very magical. And, you know, I have so many plants of these, it's okay if they don't produce fruit. Anything that I put on the left side, the shaded side, it's okay if it doesn't produce fruit. Everything on the right side over here, this is where I want to get my harvest and stuff from. So the left side's just for pretty looks. So I'm going to go get a bucket and pull up the tomatoes at the roots and put them in the bucket. Terrified of wasps. I went to get a pot and I see that there are a lot of things that are full of water, and I just wanted to show. So we've gotten a lot of rain in the last night, and I forgot to put drainage holes, and then I left these outside too, so there is so much water in here that's going to kill them. The peppermint was just full of water and I just dumped it. I really should do some drainage holes or put it in the greenhouse or something. I just wanted to show that. We'll go get the pot. Here's a good pot. And I flipped the tray around so that any extra water would drain to the other side where the water was not at to begin with. I know I'm moving the camera around a lot. I'm sorry. I try to stay still, but, you know, what are you going to do? Very large pot, tree pot. I'm just going to dig them all up at once. It just seems to be easier that way for me. Here are the tomato plants. Some of them are quite large. I do not recommend moving your tomato plants as they're growing. But everything I do doesn't make sense. We're going way over. Ooh, scary bug sounds. We are in the shaded part of the garden. I can pretty much tell. There it goes, correcting itself. Very good. Here is one of the Costa Luto Genovese tomato plants. Now you can see it does not have very many roots. That's not a very good root structure. So when replanting, we're going to pop off the bottom leaves and just leaving them to compost in place. Quite a lot. Okay? Now, because it is so long, I'm going to plant it like this. So roots are going to start growing along the stem. And look, some of them have started to. Let's see. There we go, those little nodules, those are going to grow roots. So I'm going to plant it like this. I'm going to dig a trench There are so many worms in this. I've been working on this soil for quite some time. Oh, this is good. This is good. Now you can go much deeper with this. Look at all these worms. Hi, little guy. Little wormy, little wormy. There you go. Go do your job. So I'm gonna go deeper with it. I'm gonna go deeper. There's a lot of leaves down there. I'm gonna plant it just like this. Cover it back in. Ooh. Oh, it's a worm, but you startled me. And I'm probably gonna come add to the edge because it's a little low down here. So I will come add a good 1.5 inches or 2 of soil along. So I'm gonna plant all of these the trench style and then come along and top them off. Now everything I planted underneath is going to grow roots. It's going to make this plant much stronger, and even if it doesn't get any fruit, we're still going to get a very tall plant, a good strong plant that'll grow up. Now you don't have to plant your tomatoes in a trench style. Still pull off the bottom leaves. I like to put them in the hole, around the area to compost. And you just dig really deep. The whole point is to create the strong root structure along the stem of the tomato plant. Now as the roots set and it starts to grow, this plant is going to be very strong. So I have planted 14 of the Costa Luto Genovese tomato plants over here, and I have 14 left over there. Too many. But I planted each of them pretty deep. The ones toward the end I planted way too close together. See these two? Those are too close. You should plant your indeterminate tomato plants at least 12 to 24 inches apart. Now the space in these two, that's better. I started weaving the tall ones through the netted trellis, and they will begin to grow up. And then this one back here, that little guy right there, you see him? I broke him. Snapped the top right off, and it might not grow back. I left 2 leaves. Now whenever you're transplanting your tomatoes into your garden, there's just a few things to really keep in mind, and you can't really do it wrong. You want to plant them deep so that their roots can spread out of the stem. They can create a good root system. Your tomatoes are going to need at minimum 6 hours of sun if you want fruit from them. Otherwise you're just going to get foliage. And your tomato plants are going to need water. You can water them shallowly every day or really deeply every couple days. It gets really hot here. We're in zone 8A, and I have found now in the end of May I have to water my beds twice. So it's the next day and my camera cut me off, so I'm just going to finish up this video really quick. What your tomatoes need to grow. They need to be planted deep. They need sun. They need water. They need support, some sort of trellis. I use netted trellises to hold up my tomatoes. You could purchase trellises, though they are going to be more expensive that way. There's a multitude of different trellises that you can make to support your tomatoes. The last thing that your tomatoes are going to need is food, fertilizing. Early in their life, they do well with a higher nitrogen fertilizer. Once they start to set their buds and you can see that they have been pollinated and are starting to form their fruit, then it is a good idea to switch with a fertilizer that is higher in potassium and phosphorus. The potassium and the phosphorus will help to really develop those fruits so you get some good sized fruit. Extra nitrogen will give your tomato plants a whole lot of leafy growth and not too many fruits. Pests that you want to keep an eye out for on your tomato plants are aphids and tomato hornworms. Last year I had a lot of stink bugs on my tomato plants. They will eat the foliage there as well, and I feel like maybe the flowers, but I feel like that's also could be wrong, so don't take my word on that part. Your tomato plants can get sick. There are many diseases that they can catch. A good rule of thumb is to just keep at least a foot of your stem on your tomato plant pruned of any leaves so that there are no leaves touching the soil. Then there are many different bacteria and diseases that can attach to the leaves, make the leaves sick, and then it travels into the plant. There are also some bugs that can carry around diseases, aphids being one of them. And I have often seen aphids and ants together. The aphids and the ants kind of work together to tear everything apart. Neem oil is a very good kind of all-purpose pesticide, organic pesticide that you can use for your tomato plants. I use neem oil on just about everything, but you don't really want to just spray all of your plants in your garden with neem oil. Whenever it comes to pest control, you really should do it like a spot treatment. So you only treat the plants that are sick or that have infestations of bugs on them. You know, you want to get those parts out of the way so that it doesn't make anything else sick. So I'm going to keep you updated on the growth of the tomatoes. They are starting to grow really, really quickly, and with all the rain that we've had the last couple of days, I think that they have put on quite a few inches. There's bound to be a lot of growth in the next week because of all of the rain. That is all that I have for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I planted tomatoes, and hopefully you learned something. We'll see you next time here on Hollow Acres Homestead.